Well, hey, Gundam Maniacs, welcome to another episode of Gundam Explained. In this episode, we're actually going to take a look at episode 1 of the new Gundam Metaverse series. So yeah, we're going to be reviewing a whole new Gundam series, but it's not really something I'm into. Hey, but before we get started, if you haven't, please subscribe. If you think this is a cool video, give it a like. Check the links in the description for ways you can support the channel. Check out our Discord, we have a lot of fun there. But let's get started. Alright, well, on October 6th, Bandai released the first episode of Gundam Build Metaverse on their YouTube channel entitled Dive. That could be a callback to the Build Divers type thing. I mean, I'm sure it probably is. So here's the thing with my history real quick on the Build verse and all that stuff. I'm into the Gundam story, specifically Universal Century. The kind of this meta of like fictional universes where Gunpla exists, I've never really gotten into. I've watched like that first beginning G and some of Build Fighters and I think it was Battlelog, yeah. And to be honest, it's actually pretty entertaining. And I think what I've noticed is the more I've gotten into Gundam, understood some of the background history of Gundam, different characters throughout Gundam. There's little bits throughout the build shows that then I understand, and then I appreciate, and then I see it as like a celebration of Gunpla. And so, you know, coming into this, not really knowing the rest of the build shows, there's like Build Fighters Tribe, there's Divers, there's this and that. Battlelog is the one I was familiar with. When I watching Battlelog, I saw that there's very low stakes when it comes to character conflict. This is unlike what we get in like a Gundam series where the robots are part of the universe. In here, it's Gunpla that people are building, so the characters, the risk is winning or losing a virtual battle. But what's really cool about this Gundam Build Metaverse is I would say this is the first time any company, any brand that claimed they were making some sort of multiverse, metaverse, etc. This is the first one to actually kind of follow through, okay? So the idea was to have a place where everyone can log into, but it wasn't like a video game or application or whatever. We just know a place where someone can log into, build Gunpla, show off Gunpla, buy Gunpla in a virtual space, have your own avatar. In Japan, though, they have released this sort of like beta or prototype of their actual metaverse system where you can scan in Gunpla and then use them to battle. And then we have the show that actually came out called Metaverse. And it builds on that, the original story of the Build Fighter stuff where it's, you know, people building Gunpla that then battle. But they've added this layer on it where, and I'll jump ahead real quick. Like we're looking at the main character here, Ryo Hojo. And what's interesting is there's the Metaverse version, completely different character. And it's sort of going along the lines of having an avatar. Now, I think some previous Gunpla Build Fighter shows did that to a point, but it wasn't really completely changing what the characters looks. But this goes that far, and it kind of mirrors the idea of what all these companies are trying to do. What we kind of do in general when we're playing any MMO or online game, we're assuming an avatar that may look different. I think most people make something that looks different from them, even if some bits are similar. But you generally don't go into a video game with some pre-mapped face texture of you yourself. You're usually creating a character from scratch. And it's pretty cool to see that that's kind of what they were going for here. And again, while I haven't watched the previous shows, we do see that we have characters, and here's one where you can see they kind of look the same, the diver version, the real version. But that they're actually even showing up in the metaverse. And one of the characters explained that, well, people can go in with an avatar of a famous diver or builder or etc. So the main character thought the whole time he was with people with the avatars, later finding out it was really them. So I think it's neat that level of, I don't know, narrative is injected in this because that's something we can relate to a lot more than a lot of times how arbitrarily video games are shown off in like a piece of media. You know, going through the episode, I found it charming. It was nice and lighthearted. I don't typically watch anime other than Gundam or things that are typically mature. So, watching something like this, it is pretty nice. It's a palate cleanser. I love the whole thing, like with the other build shows, of these characters kind of living a life in a normal way and then going into a Gunpla store, going into a hobby store, and then meeting the people that work there, seeing things that you would recognize yourself at a hobby store that's actually in the show here. And so probably the best character for me is this character. I think she's called like Mask Lady. Her real name is Syria Urutsuki, or her VR avatar is Mask Lady. A lot of reasons why I like this character. I've become a connoisseur of waifus lately, but it's mainly this line. I was rewatching Gundam Double Zeta again from episode 1. Congratulations. And so the other part of this is seeing the kits in this show, because what we're seeing is kits we might recognize, but they're not exactly. Because the whole idea of this and what Bandai's trying to promote and what makes Gunpla an aspect of that fun is the kit bashing, is the custom paint jobs. It's kind of like creating your own thing. So I think it's pretty cool that in this show, no one's really vanilla with their mobile suits. They typically customize them, whereas I am the type where when I'm playing GBO2, I go in and I kind of match the colors closer to the Gunpla than what's in game, and I put the decals where they're supposed to go. I'm more of that kind of canon vanilla guy. While it was cool seeing all the different Gunpla, these SD Gundams showing up are pretty silly. Yeah, not too much into SD, but I've started seeing these particular SD Gunpla show up in a lot of places, like I guess re-releases, alternate versions, SD Gundam Battle Alliance, where I'm seeing them more and more, and it's starting to penetrate my mind where it's like, yes, I will buy a Gunpla. But in terms of what the show is about, I was shocked to see SD Gundams, but then I'm like, you know what? That's actually pretty cool, because that's just Gunpla, just like everything else. I would even say in context of some virtual game where it's about your Gunpla and not in story, it's cool to see something like this actually. And so as it's ending, I gotta say I liked what I saw. It seemed to be, yeah, a celebration of the hobby, but enough modern things where it's not offensive to a particular age group that's not being targeted here, which I don't think is necessarily the case. So what I'm trying to say is it does a good job of just telling a very interesting story, having good mood and atmosphere that doesn't like make it cringy or anything. So, like I said, low risk occurs, in terms of this is not like the real world where colonies are being dropped or anything. But there is still some interesting story elements that happen to be between characters that are intriguing, just like the after credits scene that occurred here. Okay, and so really, the only reason I'm watching this is because of the giant robots, right? Where it all started, the Gundam. So here we go. Here is the Law Gundam, which I don't know why it has that name. I wonder if they will explain it. Does it have to do with Lala soon? Probably not. One thing I'll say is this does look cool. Like, I like the way this looks. Except, and this is what I can't stand that I see it happen sometimes, is like, unless there's an explanation for it, kind of like the arbitrary, really placed, like, white lines on the shoulders and the front skirt. Yeah, it's not a big deal, but I feel like that serves no function, yet it takes up a lot of space. It would be better if it had more of a real type marking lending look to it, or perhaps more of maybe the corners having, and again, this is my Gunpla customization mind going off because that's what the show's about, but having like divots at the tops and bottoms that are like white with a little cross in the middle, just to make it look like, I don't know. And again, this is what's cool about Gunpla, this is your personal preference, but those white lines just pull me away from it actually being like super awesome. And I'm curious too what the red thing is at the top, other than just decoration. Maybe there's more to it, but I gotta say that does look cool. And I think even the character is cool. Something that I secretly like for some reason is surfing and stuff, even though I have never surfed in my life except for one time, and it was because here in Texas they opened up an indoor surf park place. I went to go do that. It was a lot of fun. It was really hard. So I kind of like the whole surfing thing going on in this. And so just to end with the synopsis, a boy named Rio is enjoying Gunpla Battle in the new internet service known as the Gundam Metaverse project. After installing a login set in his room at home, he dives into the metaverse together with the Law Gundam he created with this day in mind. So there you go. That is the Gundam Metaverse show, first episode. And I gotta say, that was pretty enjoyable to watch. It feels like a celebration of the hobby, and not just the hobby, but my favorite part of it, which is the story and the lore. It's all combined. The hobby, the story, the lore. It's a great show. It's a feel-good show. It's different than the darker themes that are usually part of other Gundams. So, and the fact it's free to watch, and Bandai seems to be the first one actually ushering in this metaverse that we've been hearing about. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Let me know below what you think, and we'll talk later.